Nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live, as well as Facebook and YouTube. Happy summer solstice, Nashua and New Hampshire and the world.
Yes. Happy solstice and good morning.
How is everything?
Chaotic.
I have a question for you.
Fire away.
How often do you sing the wrong words to the songs?
All the time. At least 99.8.
I was thinking how when Flashdance came on, I saw the video just as much as I heard the music. And in the video, I sang the lyrics to the video more than the words. So it's take your passion and make it happen.
Yes.
I sang take your pants down and make it happen. And I was in the car belting out, take your pants down. And my mother was like, what are you singing? And I said, take your pants down and make it happen. And she's like, those are not the words. The words are passion. I said, oh, that makes sense now. But she does take off her pants in the video. My mother's like, I don't care what the video says.
Right.
I don't care what the video shows you. That's
well, and it kind of makes sense to the energy that you're in groove. But after then you learn the new words, you're like, oh,
I don't think I
something
like
about
it as
doesn't
much.
hit the same.
So every once in a while, I will sing take your pants down and make it happen.
So last night, yesterday I felt just kind of under the weather, and I think just a lot of things catching up. And last night I went through Spotify, was making a new playlist, and then doing a lot of rock songs in orchestra, or like the string quartet, or like symphonic. So I was just
like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of.
Yes. And I was like, wow, I actually like these, just to kind of have it on in the background. And because there's one, I'll look it up after on the break to find it out. There's one that's really good. I can't remember if I said it to you. I think it was like Coldplay. There's not many songs that I like about Coldplay, but there's that one when they do it in the orchestra symphony, and I'm like, man.
I don't know if I've heard it. I like Big Fish.
Blinding Lights.
Okay.
I don't think that's not Coldplay. So people are going to be like, oh my God, shaking their head. And like, God, who are these people? Where'd they come from?
If anyone knows anything about us, we will get it wrong first. And we'll figure it out and later on tell you we were wrong.
Yes.
And we'll get it right.
And most of the time I don't mind feedback when somebody's like, oh, it's this. It depends
it's
on
this band.
It's
right?
how you give me feedback. Because, I go into it like, hey, I'm a beginner at all of this stuff.
Right. And also, if you premise everything with, hey, loser.
Right.
Okay, you just belong on the internet. Don't criticize us.
Right.
Not even on the internet. Or you can on the internet. We don't care. Actually, if you criticize us with 5 words or more, it helps our algorithm.
Yes. Yes.
So if you do insult us, please do it in at least 5 words in the comment section.
Well, we are sensitive creatures, too. So I feel like, hey, just be gentle with me.
We're fragile.
There's my Mamma Mia, Adente. Hold me softly. I love the lyrics to that.
And I love the duality in us, because we are so, we are gentle, we are fragile, we are sensitive, and then we're also
Fierce.
Below the yeah. So you cannot make sense of us.
Shots fired.
Don't try.
I know. Do we even tell any of our guests about our experience about coming in and being like, just at the store when we got asked to leave?
I don't know. I don't want that vibe for our show.
No, I don't either. But it was one of those examples where we came in just, having fun, that fun, flirty, feminine energy, and a gentleman picked up on that. It was very engaging. And then he asked a very inflammatory question.
Well, he assumed because we were female that we must follow all of the things he thinks females are, including the way... It is a very assumption-based profiling of us. Like, oh, you're female, so you must think X.
Yes, I think he thought very much that we were going to be aligned with his opinion.
Right. And when we weren't, it went sideways real quick.
He's like, I don't know how to handle these people. And I'm like, yeah, we get that a lot.
We did a lot. And I do think this is why I don't talk politics with strangers. I just, no one ever changes their mind. One of my clients, I was telling him how off the rails this went, and he says, this is why I never talk politics with people, because you can agree with 95% of what somebody says, but the 5% you don't ruins the relationship.
Yes.
And I do agree with that. And we didn't even have a relationship yet.
But honestly, and I feel like it's not ruined from my perspective.
Right.
I mean, there have been times where, let me just back up. There's been times where I have blocked somebody from it. And I think one of the beautiful things about where I am now versus where I was even 10 years ago, I would love to get into a debate to somebody. But now I'm like, I'm not here to change your mind, man. I'm just here to do me.
Well, I think we've debated differently 10 years ago. We would argue points.
Yes.
And we would concede when someone had a good point. That was the whole the debate.
Well, I still feel like we both concede when somebody has a good
you
point.
and I do. They don't.
But there was a lot that, I was very firm in my convictions and holding tight to those. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Now I'm at the point where I can still hold firm to my convictions, but I just don't have to impress it upon you anymore. Like I'm not interested in trying to change somebody else's opinion. Like if one of the things I said to my kids growing up, everybody's got opinions and everybody's going to share it with you. Wait until you get married, and especially wait till you have kids. People will give you all kinds of advice. And just remember, you don't have to engage with them. If somebody says something that resonates with you, then pick it up. If that's something that don't disagree with them, just leave it. Just, lay it down. Don't carry it.
I used to walk my girlfriend's dog because she worked nights at a hotel. I used to walk her dog, and everyone would talk to me about the dog and tell me what I should be doing. And I used to say, this isn't even my pet.
Yes.
I am walking this for a friend.
Yes.
But people would say, oh, can I pet the dog? He's going to jump. Athena's going to jump on you. She's a puppy. She's not well trained. This is what you should do to be training her. It's like, I didn't ask for any of your advice, and this isn't even my dog. I'm auntie. I give treats.
Right.
I go for walks.
Right.
I'll give you bacon. I'm the auntie. I'm not the parent. I'm not having to, educate this puppy for the rest, every day until it is a certain puppy and becomes a certain dog. I am auntie.
Right.
I am the bad behavior.
Well, I mean,
the dog gets its bad behavior from me.
But even when you're putting groceries on the conveyor belt, the cashier will give her opinion about something that's on the belt. Or, I had a guy behind me said, those Diet Dr. Peppers will kill you. And I'm like, yes.
Hopefully
so
soon.
will McDonald's.
Hopefully before this conversation is over.
I just turned around and I just said, well, we all have our poison.
My mother's favorite line when
he gets a carton of cigarettes. Yeah, you're going to talk about. So that's why there's a good example. Like, yeah, okay, you're going to tell me that my Diet Dr. Pepper, but here you are buying, a pack of Pall Mall, a carton of Pall Malls.
Right.
Have at it, babe. That's why I said, you know what? I just let that, let it roll off your back.
Yeah. My mother always used to say, you're going to have to die of something.
Yes.
That was her phrase for anything bad she was doing, that we would say, hey,
yeah,
shaving minutes off your life.
Yes.
When I used to say that smoking shaved minutes off her life, she would say, yeah, the back end ones, I don't want those. And I'm like, okay, well, conscious decision. That was a conscious decision. I see what you're doing there.
Right. Yes. I think that sometimes we just walk around with a bunch of just energy, and I find sometimes like we just displace it on people by telling their opinion and giving their opinion.
Well, when I used to be a runner. I was a size 4. I was the tiniest I ever was when I ran, and I used to eat a lot of food, but I used to eat a lot of healthy food. I mean, I would pound down bananas and avocados. No one in an office would be able to pass by my desk without telling me how fattening bananas were and how fattening avocados were.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy across from me had Cheetos, Fritos, just these crunchy little bags, empty bags of all kinds of chips on their desk. No one said one word to that man. And I'm thinking, I am skinny,
right,
eating healthy whole food, And you can't wait to impart your little bit of knowledge
Right.
about how dangerous the avocados
Right.
are. Who is fat from avocados? Good luck to you.
That's interesting that we're actually kind of on this subject because we were just talking about. I was talking about this yesterday and today. This morning, is that I don't know why. Why is it that we have, and we do it to the people closest to us the most? Why do we always feel like we have to critique them or change them, like something that they're saying, or like
We
we're
see
s-
them as a reflection of us. When the people are, that's what I think. So I think when someone's really close to us, you see them as a reflection of you instead of as their own person. So when they're doing something, you're like, I want to say X, or I want to be X, or I want to be seen as X, or whatever the thing is. So you want them to change to be more of a reflection of you.
That is that's a good point. That's a good way to look at it. Because instead of,
You're your own person. I love you, and I agree with 90% of what you say, but you're your own person.
right. And so what I said this morning is, when someone gives you, when somebody is giving you advice, or when somebody's talking, I mean, there's been many a times that I have disagreed with what someone is saying to me, and I'm like, but you know what? That's not mine. I'm trying to give space to let you be free to be you. And I feel like sometimes when we're always giving advice or telling somebody how we should do it better or how we should do it different, is you're not seeing them, is how I felt. But I like the way that you described it, is that, we see that person as a reflection. And sometimes we do get caught up in our own.
Especially children. So when our kids do something wrong, we're not seeing them as that's 14, they're hormonally enraged,
Right.
unbeknownst to them. They
Right.
don't know that everything is kind of just like when you go through, say, menopause, that's hormonally
Yes.
engaging in an opposite way. And now I understand why. I think the drop in estrogen, I think estrogen is what makes us care.
Yes, it does.
Because all of a sudden, I stopped caring about all kinds of things as my estrogen dropped. and then,
Bye-bye.
and then I was like, oh, well, some of these things I still do need to care about. And I don't
Yes.
I don't know if men have a version of that.
Yes.
But I think one of the nurturing, I mean, even men are nurturing. Putting your gas in your car, taking out the trash, doing making sure that we joke around that my brother-in-law has become dad, because if you have a loose chair, he's fixing loose chairs. He's got what are those all-in-one tools that has
Oh,
a
yeah.
screwdriver and a scissors and a
I
knife?
call it
and-
tinkerer.
Right. And all of a sudden he's whipping it out, and we're at the restaurant, he's fixing the chairs for us, but that's a nurturing
Yes.
element. It's just in a different language
Yes.
than say maybe the female nurturing
Yes.
is. But I think we all have that nurturing part of us, and I think one of the first things that happens in the drop of estrogen is I don't want to nurture so many of these things.
Yes.
And some of them I don't need to nurture, which
Yes.
is great because when I was 20 I cared about everything.
Yes.
And now I just don't have the energy to care about 90% of that anymore.
Yes. That's true.
But when we talk about the kids, like the reflection because I got off on the hormonal thing. I'm sorry. I digressed.
We'll bring it back.
we'll
All
circle
together.
back around. When as parents, we are raising them and we
Yes.
are instilling them, so it's even more prominent that they're a reflection of us.
Yes.
If they go out and do something stupid and someone comes and tells us that our kid smashed a car window, that is a direct reflection of our parenting them.
Yes.
And I think that's why those relationships can be really charged. Spouses, when you fall in love, that chemical concoction of oxytocin and serotonin and dopamine bond you so tightly that you think you're the same. I found the
Yes.
me
Yes.
that I needed.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they do something. You're like, hey, that's not me.
Well, I mean, but that also goes into like a deeper conversation about the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine energy. And then, if you bring religion into it, you talk about, the perfect mate, your soulmate or your person. And when he says that the two shall become one, I believe that what he's talking about is that the perfect blend of feminine and masculine energy. And when we can get in sync and do the work that we need to maintain that harmony, then that's the perfect relationship. because we are a reflection of each other. We are a reflection of what we do.
And I do
Or
like
what we do is a reflection of us. So everything is mirrored back to us. How we engage with the checkout people, how we handle ourselves in traffic, and how we handle ourselves at work and in our relationships. And somebody once said to me, and I think it was a beautiful gift, when my kids were little, she had said, never lose sight of, enjoy childhood, let them be kids, but never lose sight that you're raising a man and a woman. And that felt very like a heavy responsibility. So I always tried to parent from that place. Like, who do I want this young man to be? I was given the gift and the opportunity to shape these two human lives. But we all have that, regardless of whether you're an aunt, a sister, or, just
a friend,
a family friend, dear, when you are in a tight-knit community, we all have a duty, I think, to help bring up. But then people were like, well, if you have a duty and I'm going to give you advice, and now you're telling me I don't want advice. Well, it's just, I think there can be gentle guidance, and I don't think that we come from a place of positive. What is I just that phrase just went constructive criticism.
Yes.
We just give advice, and it's like
And I don't think every minute of a day someone needs to be constructively criticizing us.
Yes. So my phrase for that, when somebody is telling me, even in strangers, when they decide that they want to give me advice or tell me how I should do something, my response now is thank you, but I was not looking for unsolicited advice.
I love that.
It's just a better way. Like, I didn't ask your opinion.
And I also think,
Oh no, I thank you. I'm not taking unsolicited advice right now.
I love that. And I also think and I blame text messaging for this to breed into our society and our culture. Before, good morning, how are you? You would preface. It's almost the equivalent of a movie when they show the shot of Seinfeld's apartment. They're orienting you to where you are. Okay, even though we know where Seinfeld lives, you don't have to keep showing that every
Yes.
single show, but they're doing it as an orienting piece.
Yes.
When people just say text message, and I think of this, oh, my roof is, whatever it is, it's that you're in the middle of their conversation in their head.
And they just reach out to you like, oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart and I got to text this person. So it's like, hey,
But our whole life
can you
has
go do
become a
this?
brain fart.
Yes.
Where we, that whole, hi, how are you? I'm looking for, at aisle 3, even to the people at CVS.
Yes.
I'm looking for floss. I'm looking
Yes.
for vitamins.
Right.
Hi, how are you? and it just orients, not just yelling at someone, vitamins.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
because what actually I think what we're doing is when we reach out on a text message, or in even reading text messages, we're reading it from from our emotional space, and
they're
we're sending it
from our emotional space.
That was good.
That was really good.
High five, nickel bump. Nickel bump.
I'll give you a hip bump.
Nickel bump. See, I tell you, like 99.8% of the time, I'm going to say something wrong. Lyrics, songs.
Nickel bump is
Words.
high five for any of you who couldn't see on our Facebook or
There was a
YouTube
perfect
page.
live moment where we make up our own words.
And we're not alone in that. There's actually a definition of a word that when you concatenate words that don't belong together, it's not just you and I. It's not just my sister-in-law and I. It's everyone.
I forgot what was.
I'll look it up.
I forgot what the word was. We were talking about it. But you're right. A lot of times we'll reach out, and I think about we lose the gift and the art of conversation and communicating with social media and text messaging. I don't think a lot of us stop to realize, hey, I'm responding to this person where I am in the emotional energy space right now. And are we really giving the benefit of the doubt? Are we clearing space, making space for this new interaction, this new, and it goes back to, are you going to bring your bad day at work home and have a bad night at home? Are we carrying that same energy? Or are we going to check ourselves at the door and being like, hey,
It's because a lot of the times I don't think we know how to really regulate and keep everything appropriate to where it needs to be.
Well,
It's bleeding all over everything.
yes.
And I blame, again, the phone. Before, you didn't have someone tethered to you permanently. People don't hold children the way they hold phones.
Yes.
If you didn't know where your grandfather was for 20 minutes, you wouldn't panic. If you don't know where your phone is for 20 minutes, that is a hot 20 minutes.
Yes. Well, literally. So the other day, we had the hot water heater burst over at the office, and it happens to be on the twins' birthday. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, we got 2 hours before we have to leave and get to the game, and I still have all this stuff to do. I dropped everything, ran over to help him clean it up. And in that chaos, I thought I had left my phone, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just text the kids. Here's the codependency. I'll just text the kids from Chris's phone when I get there to say, hey, I left my phone at home if you need me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so silly. Like, that was a moment of an awareness for me. Like, I've become almost panicked. And then you called me, and it started listening, and it came on my dashboard. So I'm like, well, my phone's got to be in the car because it's connected to Bluetooth. And I'm like, but that was my first thought of like, okay, so just, settle down. But boy, was that an eye-opening moment for me to being like, wow, I am so...
It's a codependent relationship.
Yes.
Only it's not dependent on us.
Right.
We are 100% dependent
Right.
on it.
And we make that. And I was like, oh, I got to put, there's something I got to, that's resistance. That's an issue. That's something that I have to look at.
Well, when we went to bike weekend on Saturday, I left my phone in the bike and he just locked the bagger. And I can't tell you how many times I reached for my phone in my pocket that wasn't there throughout
Yes.
the day. And I thought this is a perfect little exercise. I should do this way more often because I said the people I will need to talk to at this moment are here.
Yes.
I'm just going to be here in this moment enjoying bike weekend
Yes.
and the beautiful weather. I don't need, and then there's a part of me, well, I want to take pictures and I want to take videos. Everyone else is taking pictures. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. And that whole day, I just kept, by the end of the day, I think probably by 7 o'clock, I stopped reaching in my back pocket to grab my phone.
Yeah. I've done it so many times. And I have found myself, the times when I am like that is when everybody's under one roof or I know where everybody is. Because I feel like, well, what if something happens and she calls me? And it's not so that I need to know where they are. I want to be there in case something happens. Again, that's my control. Like,
but you remember growing up, our parents didn't know where we were for
Yes.
a day.
Okay, well, I hope my mom's not listening. I'm going to share a story with you.
It's too late. There's nothing we can do about that
So
story.
back in the day. So, yeah, we didn't have cell phones. And my sister had to work. She worked at a senior center. She was, like, in the evenings. It was Friday night, and I had driven to work. I'd ridden to work with her, and we had a friend meet us up there, and our friend had a license. So I didn't have my driver's license, so I had to have been 14, 15. So we were just going to drive around, and the thing to do where we grew up was cruise Wards Road. Everybody, you spit shine your car and you wax your wheels and all that stuff, and you got your bass playing, and you got your, everybody's got their windows down, and you're just cruising the strip, and you do the mile down, turn at the gas station, do the mile up, and then everybody, you find friends and like, oh, hey, we'll meet in this parking lot. And it was kind of fun. It was fun. And you got to see different things, and it kind of felt like you were a little bit rebellious. Anyway, we'd pick my sister up by that cruising. We were on our way to pick my sister up from work. And the engine light came on. And we're like, it's fine. I don't know what that is. Let's go pick her up.
Let's ignore it.
And she's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I think our curfew was like midnight, and it was like 10. And she's like, well, we're going to go, because she wanted her night out. So we're back on Wards Road, and we're all cruising, and we get by the Waffle House, and the car just dies in the middle of the road. So everybody piles out. We push it into the Waffle House parking lot. And our other friend is like, hey, let's go party. And she's like, yeah, we've got another hour and a half before curfew. So we'll call Dad at midnight. But then at midnight, we're running around trying to find a payphone that actually works. But I'm like, but that's how, we're like, yeah, we're just going to ride this one out. So now my parents live, 35 minutes away from home. So, we'll be getting home at like 2.
Right, we'll be way past our curfew.
Yes.
But we met our curfew by calling by 12.
Oh my God, you wouldn't believe what just happened. The car just died on us. There were some benefits of, not having a cell phone being readily available.
And I also sometimes think it's a leash because it's one thing when someone's like, I'm going to text you to let you know where to meet me at 10.
Yes.
Right. And then you ignore the text message at 10. But just all day long to be at everyone's beck and call over urgent or unimportant things, it's tiring.
Yes. You're a slave to somebody else's
or the
time.
possibility
and they don't even know it.
I think, because I know how mad people get. And I always say, give them the benefit of the doubt. They might be going to the bathroom. And I know everyone says, yeah, but you take the phone in the bathroom. Maybe let's not.
Yeah.
Let's give the phone a break, even in the bathroom. And I joke around with this one, too, because this one makes everyone uncomfortable. I was having sex. I'm not going to be picking up my phone when I have sex.
Right.
I'm not going to be talking about. I'm not going to be texting in the middle of it. I'm really engaged.
Right.
I'm not doing that. There's a million reasons why.
Yes.
I'm cooking. I've got my hands in meatballs.
Yes.
I'm rolling 80 meatballs.
Yes.
I am not listening. I'm not picking up my text.
Yes. Yes.
It's no offense against you.
Yes.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not available for everybody at all times.
Right.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
Don't be angry. Go get a snack. You'll be fine.
Now again, if you're telling someone, "Hey, I'm going to text you when you need to pick me up for a ride," yeah, have your phone on and bring it to the bathroom. Right? There's appropriate. You know how there's used to be age appropriate?
Yes. Well, I think
You've lost all that
there's
appropriate.
nothing wrong with having your phone, but just know your limits. Have some self-discipline. That's what I'm hearing. Like we should have self-discipline. And
I think we care about what we consume. The guy's yelling at you about your Dr. Pepper, right? We're so conscientious of consumption. Well, we're consuming. Our eyes are consuming.
mm-hmm.
Our ears are consuming.
Well, we're conscientious of it for other people, but we're not willing to look at it for ourselves.
Because we're all a little addicted to the phone.
Yeah. Well, but we all have consumption issues. Like, we have created a world of like accessibility and convenience. And sometimes those things can come back to harm us than it can be. It's a disruption. It's a distraction. It's an addiction. It's something to do boredom. It keeps you disengaged from, and also, even just like movies, we become desensitized because we're just being flooded so much with information.
I was watching,
and a lot of it's useless information.
When so I was sick on Tuesday. I'm like, I'm gonna lie down. I did a lot of sleeping, but then I put on an old series because I wanted something on in the background that was just noise and I could fall asleep to, that I wouldn't pay attention. So I put on the You series on Netflix, and she said, Love said in one scene that all this publicity flattens us. It makes us a two-dimensional character that everyone thinks they understand when they don't understand at all.
That's true. Well, that's really good.
And I thought that was really good because it's like one of the books I was reading called Filter World was talking about how art as an expression mimics life and life imitates art. All along history, we have been drawn to paint and create and sculpt, do all these different things. Photograph. And now we're doing it through this flattening lens of this phone.
Mm-hmm.
The Statue of David is not meant to be experienced through the phone.
Correct.
You're supposed to see him in all of his glory in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
In stone, the way he's, meant to be, the way he was created. And so it's hard because the thing that we love, this is accessibility and convenience, and also has a price. So to always, the minute I see a beautiful flower like outside the studio, I want to take a picture of it.
Yes.
And I tell myself,
I'm going to capture it.
50% of the time I do take the picture, just so you know, and I delete it later. But the other 50%, I'm convincing myself, just enjoy the flower.
Yes, I struggle with that too, but and I
Because
think
that's the photographer in me.
yes,
That's the
yes.
artist in me.
I
I
was
want to
actually going to
capture it
say that the
later.
other night. I took a picture the other night. I love capturing raindrops on flowers. Like I love that. And the other day we have an English garden that runs down the long side of the pool, and I was trying to capture a butterfly. It was just lighting on. I think it's milkweed. It almost smells like a lilac or like a hyacinth. It has a sweet smell, and the bees are all over it. So I get caught up in trying to capture like the best picture of, I saved a honeybee. Somebody has bees up the road from us, and I think that they're swarming because I've been trying to save a lot of honeybees out of our pool because they're all coming for the water. They don't care about the bird bath. They just want so I'm scooping them out, and he was so wet, and so I videoed him on the pool patio just trying to dry himself off. I just thought that was cool. And I'm like, that's actually an amazing shot. Like one of my, when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be a National Geographic photographer. So part of the times where I spend a lot of time on my phone taking pictures is I said to Chris, I love taking pictures of that. Like I can get caught up in that space. Like if I actually go back to a time when I'm filming the bee drying off, if I go back and think about that moment, I don't remember any other sound, noise. Like it is silent in my head. And that's beauty, because I think most people, especially women, have browsers open all the time. So that's where I am consciously aware, where I'm 100% focused and creating art. And so I'm like, he's like, but why do you do that? And he's like, because you delete them or you don't do anything. And I'm like, but it's that capturing that moment and it's being in that space. Like I know that sounds silly, but like I'm sharing a moment, or I'm recognizing the beauty of this moment right here, capturing that flower. I think I tried to show you, I did a time lapse of a peony opening, and I'm like,
I saw a flower.
I saw one. I know I should have left it, but my battery was dying, and I'm like, all right, next time. So I keep walking walking around the yard, like, okay, which one can I do? Because I just think that would be cool to experience and see.
And I do think that's cool too. I do find that I was so mesmerized we did a whole entire show about photography. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And it was our love of capturing what we're seeing, capturing what we're feeling. And before we used to have to do it with the camera.
Yes.
But now we have a device on us at all times. And that's why I went through and I just deleted 200 pictures of my phone. I was like, duplicates. I got to get some of this stuff off.
And I'm like, what am I going to do with the sunset? I captured this great moment, but then the moment has passed. And so even when I scroll back through it, I'm like, that's pretty, but it's not worth keeping anymore.
Yes.
So like that moment. And so a lot of my pictures are there because I have a moment captured that I want. And so even when we're with people, I love capturing moments. Like I love taking those pictures, and I always keep the ones with the people. Most of the time I keep the ones with the people.
So my mother used to, way before we used to have iPhones, and I asked for cameras really young. I had the disc camera.
Oh, yes.
I was always into cameras.
You're always asking for Polaroid film for your birthday.
And your parents are like, throw this away.
Yes.
Throw this
And they
Polaroid
always
away.
came out crappy pictures.
Because people were blinking and you were moving, they were moving. You didn't, the Polaroid is a very almost basic understanding of what a camera really is.
Yes.
You can't control any features of it. But she taught me mental memories.
Mm-hmm.
And a mental memory is when you want to remember something, the first instinct is to capture it with your phone. But how you do it is what do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? What do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through all of the senses to really embody this memory, this moment that you're trying to recall later.
Yeah, I think you're using your resources to cement it into your long-term memory. And taking the time and the space to really enjoy it.
And the first time she taught me to do it, we were driving by the Meadow Glen Mall on a highway. And the way it was really hot and humid, so the way the the humidity in the air was being captured and the sunset, and she pulled over right below the overpass. And she's talking to me, like telling me to how to do this, and I can still feel
That's
the heat
cool.
in the wind of the cars going by and the heat of the exhausts on top of the heat of the road. I can see the shimmer of everything because it's so hot. I can feel the bead of sweat on my skin. I can smell the car gas. I can hear, like, I can feel everything, and I can be in that moment.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's a practice thing because I don't know, 75% of the time I'm not really even 100% present. I'm in my to-do list, and what am I making for dinner?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I saw this great meme.
Your act, you're into your movies. So that's what I was saying to Chris the other day is when he was asking about the pictures is like, I want to share with the world the way that I see it. I'm curious to see if you see it that same way. Do you see the beauty in that? So on our way home, on our road, there's this little tiny hair salon. And I don't even know how they stay in business because you never see any cars, and I never know when they're open. But it says creating beauty is art, and I was like, wow, that is actually true. Like, so just me taking that and breaking that down, and I'm like, people that do their makeup really good, that's art in there. People, the way people do their hair and like your outfits, your clothes, when you take the time to consciously make an effort to do the hair, the makeup, I mean, just down to that. But even the flowers, the way that you set up your space, the way that you decorate your bedroom, the way that you cook, the way that you cook food and you present it on a plate and all of that stuff, that's all of us going through the motion of creating art. And I just thought, like, wow, I love that phrase. And it made me just start looking at like people and things differently. And like we're all expressing whether we think we are or not. We're all putting energy out there. And I'm like, so that's pretty cool. You can walk through somebody's house and be like, yeah, this is their interpretation of their art, of what they see is beauty, with your, with the resources that you have, however you do it. And so I love it. Then it makes me look at the sky and the clouds and the sunset and just thinking about the transformation from day into night. One of my favorite things to do is sit outside in the evening when we have like solar lights all through the garden and lighting up little spots in the trees. And it's literally magical to watch evening come on as the sun's going down. And I love when the trees look black in just that little like white, light blue color. And then it transfers all the way up into like that midnight blue. It's almost black.
That's my favorite color.
But you can see that gradient, so you can see the dark contrast of the trees.
You can see the night descending over and
Yes.
taking over.
And then
the
it's
light.
like you watch the stars. So when the kids were little and it was right around bedtime and they would come out, we'd always get in the hot tub and they would watch for the first star. And they would always say, starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. But they're watching and I'm like, it's like these little lights. The sky is turning on their little night lights. They're just twinkling. And I love that. And then the lights in the yard are coming on. I was looking around and we had these little tiki torches lit up. And I just said, this place is a place. If I were a fairy, I would come here. And I was like, he's like, well, you were definitely building a fairy garden. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that,
But I loved when I was sitting at your pool and I see the hummingbird coming back and forth from the tree to the. It does feel magical.
yes.
That's what I want out of my garden is magic too. But today is a magical day because my cousin Angela, it's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Angela.
And we're going to go to Canopy Lake tomorrow night
Oh my gosh, how
and
fun
do a little
is
bit
that?
of fun celebrating.
Oh, how
So
fun
happy
is that?
birthday, Angela. I love you so much. I remember meeting you at a month old and just
Oh.
falling in love with you. And I've loved you ever since.
Oh my goodness, that's fun.
She's the sweetest person in my family.
Canopy can be fun. I like to go. We used to go at nighttime with the kids. That was
They're going to be
fun.
fireworks tomorrow. So it's part of what she wants to do. She wants to
Ooh.
go in the afternoon and then go in to see the fireworks.
Well, and one thing that we did this week, the kids actually picked going to the Fisher Cats game for their 22nd birthday. So we went, and it was a great time. Like I forgot.
Did they win?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
We played Philadelphia. They played Phillies. Somebody. I don't know. So then we got into a conversation about the farm teams and Like, how is that? How does that work when they draft? And I guess there's like A, AA, and AAA, and farm teams or whatever. I was like, well, who owns those? How do you pick like who's going to be the farm team for the Red Sox, and who's going to be? Because I think the Fisher Cats are farm team for the Canadian like Blue Jays or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I could be butchering that, and people are like shaking their head right now. But I'm like,
You can correct us in the comments on Facebook.
so I'm not. I'm not. I'm not educated in that league of who's who. But it was a red maple leaf, and there was a Blue Jay on it. So I was like, okay.
The
It's-
Maple Leaves on the Blue Jays.
It was. Does that mean that's Canadian Blue Jays? I don't know. Bluebirds, whatever. But that's what it is. So that just, I had asked, like, who gets to decide? Is it the owner of this team decides to negotiate with the owner of this team, like for a major league team? Like, or is it like a draft, like a lottery? I don't know how that works, but
Did anyone know? I thought Chris would know.
I don't know. No, I don't think he knows. I don't,
Interesting.
because I think that well, we had a farm team. I think it was called the Lynchburg White Sox when we were growing up in the town, and we would go to their games. But I think they were for the New York Mets.
So I'm going to interject something here.
That was just like down a bunny trail.
This is going to be on this bunny trail too. Why do the Red Sox no longer have red anywhere in their uniform?
Wait, they don't?
No. They're blue and yellow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they are the Red Sox that have no red socks. They have no red anywhere in the, not even the lettering is
Well,
red.
so they used to be.
And I asked my
So their
brother-in-law and he
uniform
said, I
is
don't know.
white.
And I said, okay, does anybody know? Does anybody know? Does any of our listeners know
Wow.
why the Red Sox don't have any red?
I have to Google
in
that.
their
That's
uniform?
disappointing to me.
Because I don't even recognize them on the television. I said, why is this playing? And they said, because the Red Sox are on. And I said, that's not the Red Sox. That's how long it's been since I've seen. This might have happened years ago. I have no idea. I used to love going to the games, and then
Oh
it got
my
really
gosh,
expensive.
They did change it.
But why? Did they say why?
I don't know. I just Googled it really quickly, but we'll have to dig into that and find out. If anybody
Someone
knows
has
the
to tell me.
answer. Well, it says the Red Sox are wearing yellow and blue. No, your TV isn't broken. The Red Sox are wearing yellow and light blue jerseys. The jerseys stray from the traditional red and white. I hate when you
But
do that.
why?
I don't know. We can keep going if I find it.
Okay. The other thing, I thought we were going to talk a little bit. Well, so I kind of. Sometimes when I start us off with a question, I totally change the hour. We were going to. I'm sorry. Kind of sorry, not sorry.
Gosh, that's so sad. Like, there's some things I like tradition. So the reason I like Porsche is because it still keeps the body style, of the traditional Porsches. I used to love Volvo when Volvo looked like Volvo, like the square boxy station wagon. I loved Jeep. I loved Isuzu Trooper because they were different. Like, you can drive down the road, and now you look down the road, and it doesn't matter whether you're wearing have a Honda, a Hyundai, a Honda, a Kia, a Mercedes, a BMW, or a Porsche SUV. They all look like little bubble cars just driving down the road, rolling these
So
little bubbles.
nothing-
So I'm like, why do you even care? Like, you're just making all the cars look the same, and it's like all boring and blah. There, I said it.
So that's why I don't even like cars anymore. There used to be a time I loved cars, and I no longer like them
Yes.
because I can't distinguish. Or, I like that one. That one's $190,000. Ugh,
Yeah, yeah.
must I like that one? Can't we have a $40,000 car?
Right.
Like, but I do. I do like the Porsche because they're recognizable as a Porsche. I can usually do the Mercedes if it's that sport model Mercedes. But they've taken the fun out of cars.
Yes.
Visually.
Well, they've taken
And
the
can I say one
the
more thing about-
artistic. Yeah.
Harley, if you don't stop making black motorcycles, I'm going to come into the store and throw a tantrum.
We're coming for you.
Why aren't you doing colors on motorcycles anymore? What happened? You go someplace and it's just black road glides, black street glides. But
Yeah.
stop. This is like 1929 when
Actually,
there was
just
a
coming
black
off a bike
Ford.
week. Yeah, just coming off a bike week, you would see. Well, there's no personality anymore,
There's
and that's why I
no.
don't. And I used to love Saab when they had the little hatchback thing, and now everything's just blended into being like, oh, we all look the same. So why are you going to pay $80,000? I don't even know how much a Mercedes SUV is.
It's like 140.
When it literally, like a Kia, looks the same, or one of the other ones like that. They all look the same. So why are you paying for the label?
And why are you only making black Harleys? I know every once in a while there's a different color, but you were predominantly putting out black Harleys.
Yeah.
Why? You have in a paint job on a bike or a car is such a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's what makes you stare at it.
Yes.
I don't stare at black bikes.
Yes.
I just don't.
And the curves of the vehicle, the curves and the color of the vehicle.
Someone had this. It wasn't purple and it wasn't blue. Depending on when you looked at it, the way
Yes.
you rolled, the
It's like an iridescence kind of a.
would look purple. I'm like, is this purple? Is this blue? Is that, I love that about nice
Yes.
paint jobs.
Yes.
And you come out to Harley as black.
Yeah.
And then they're doing black matte because now matte is the big thing instead of having
Oh
any
my
kind of
God, yes.
bling. So
Well-
now it's flat black.
And the other thing is, we were in the parking lot the other day, and there's that, I don't know what it's called, but it's almost like it's that solid. All I can think of is it reminds me of like a gel nail polish. It's like opaque, but it's shiny and it's gray. I've seen a lot of the gray in the gray bluish colors. I hate those.
I know.
I saw a Porsche like GT3 in that gray. It's almost like enamel color, and I'm like, what
It
are
has
you
no
doing?
sparkle. No, it's called flop. When
Flop?
Yeah, so when a paint job, so if you go to Kendig Designs, I think they're out in Utah, and you bring a classic car and you say, make me a color. And then they say, well, this color was made in green. So they take the coolest thing about green and then they make a paint with it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So now you can get paint color for your wall, and it's like when you read the top of a paint can, it's 6 black, 3
Yes,
yellow,
yes,
2 whatever.
yes.
So it's that equivalent, and then they'll put either a sheen or a shine or a glitter or a sparkle or something, and it's called flop. When you look in the sunlight, and when you have the sunlight at one angle, and then when you turn off that angle, it's a completely different.
Yes,
Start looking
yes.
like that's called flop.
So my car has that. It's not. It's very subtle, but if you're on it in the sunlight, there's times it's black. But if you look on it, it almost looks like it could be like an dark olive green sometimes, or sometimes you can pick up like there's like flecks of gold and stuff. So it's very subtle, but it's there. It's not solid black. I forgot what they called it. Onyx something. Anyway, we're getting ready to come to the top of the hour, and I didn't mean to ADD you into that. You were like, oh, there's something I wanted to say. Then
Who
we
knows
got on
what
the-
it was?
Then we got off on the car shapes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, we were going to talk about overcoming, which we are going to talk about with our next guest. So we
Okay.
have a guest coming on, and I am very excited for this guest to be on because I know him in a business sense. I've known him probably for about 12 or 14 years.
I didn't really know. I didn't notice you guys
Yes.
that long.
The interesting thing, we are going to be meeting with Mr. Corey Gale. And the interesting thing about him is he had a mortgage company back in 2008. And so I'm in real estate. So we bump into each other in that world. And then I primarily was doing investment real estate at that time versus single family. And so we would talk about that. And then something came up in his life. And so that kind of changed directions for him. But every so many years, I would bump into him somewhere. And we would always pick off like there wasn't 4 years between the last time we saw each other.
Right.
And then a few years ago, it was a business networking group because he does whole life insurance now. And I get on Facebook, finally when I'm on Facebook, and he is rapping and playing drums and going to dance
Like, that
parties.
doesn't sound like music.
And when you
Mortgage.
So I thought, we are on the radio and you have to come and share this. I did not know this part about you. I knew his part about his faith in God, and I knew about so many different things of his life, but I didn't know this musician piece. And he just has a really interesting story, and I thought we were going to talk we've been trying to talk every week about overcoming now. I think this is the 3rd week in a row.
Could you say that you're witnessing live us having resistance?
To talking about overcoming. And it's so interesting because I think you've overcome so much. I think I've overcome so much.
Yes.
But I also think in that there is a lot of self-sabotage.
Yes.
which is basically you're undermining your own success in some capacity. So that's got to be, we're going to do that show.
We are
sometime.
the hardest. Yes, we are the hardest on ourselves. Actually, I've been thinking about that a lot the last couple of days, just thinking about we're so brutal to ourselves. And I think that's a lot of times where our criticism comes from of other people too. And like, just not even, once you become aware of the things that you think about when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, my teeth are yellow today, or I don't like this, or I don't like that, or it's just, we're so hard on ourselves. We really, as a whole, have a hard time accepting ourselves, loving who we are.
I think loving is the hard part. How do you like, truly love and accept and forgive and all of the things that go on with love?
Yeah, I mean,
Of
because
yourself.
we've, we all have moments in our life where we've been really shitty.
Yeah.
To ourselves and to other people. And a lot of times we hang on to those things. And we were just talking earlier about, advice and, some of the other things that we're talking about. Pick up the stuff that serves us and lay down the something. And it's, we've talked about that too. In order to have something new, we have to lay something down old.
Because it's hard to it's hard to be a new version of yourself lugging all this old version with you too.
Yes. Yeah, and at any moment we get to create who we are, and we get to lay down things that don't serve us. And I think we have a really hard time laying stuff down that doesn't serve us. Like for whatever.
I don't even think a lot of times we evaluate what's working and what's not working.
Well, my question is, why is it so much easier to live in trauma and pain than it is to live in joy?
Because it's known.
Yes. That goes back to that, earlier conversation we were talking about, chemistry in the brain and Joe Dispenza and, how it's releases cortisol. And I think we were talking about it a while back about being addicted to the drama. That literally is a thing. That is a chemical reaction that occurs in your body, and it gives you like the dopamines and your endorphins and all of that stuff when you're in creating that conflict or creating drama. And all of a sudden when it's resolved and things start to, go down to neutral again, our bodies are feeling that loss of that
Chemical.
the chemical. And so guess what we're doing? We're going to go and find something else to do it. And we don't even know that we're doing it. And it's like, wow, if we can actually self-analyze that in ourselves and like, well, actually we do have a choice. We can actually start sending those into, turning those things into the joy of, focusing on the honeybee, in seeing the magic in those moments, or getting the perfect shot of the water drops. Those are all my ways of trying to see the beauty and trying to change my vibration and in trying to find healthy ways to get that rush, get that dopamine rush. And not that that's going to be like an adrenaline high. It's not like skydiving or, wearing that squirrel suit and flying. But
I grew up in a traumatic scenario. So I remember, and everybody used to be like, tell me the latest story, my friends or whatever, because there was always some story, and it was always catastrophically dramatic. And then I remember moving out, getting my job, doing my things, and then people being like, come on, you've always got great stories. Crazy is interesting to listen to.
right.
Crazy is great to watch on television. Everyone stares at the car accident, walking on the street, but living it. And I remember thinking, I am so excited I have no new stories, because
Yeah.
I was separating myself from that. And
from the drama.
that I wasn't creating, the chaos that I wasn't creating. And I did not know how to interact with that group of people because I didn't know. That was part of the reason why I stopped talking to family. Like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I only know how to do this when everyone's playing their part in the play. And I hate my part in the play.
Yeah. I'm going to write a new play.
I don't like this play at all.
Yes.
I am getting off of Broadway.
I'm out.
As the villain or whatever I was. I was always assigned different roles, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
And part of the time you're actually playing the role. It becomes part of you say this and then I say this and this is the dance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think
Because we create a pattern.
to really take care of yourself, sometimes you have to separate to realize, okay, this really isn't who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am in this particular situation. I don't want to be this person. I don't need to be in this situation.
Yes. So sometimes we've been, one of the things said that, sometimes bad energy, I've been taking it and I use it to say, when somebody's angry and somebody is just ugly to you, and I'm like, you know what? It's not in you, it's something on you. There's some bad energy on you instead of in you. Or at least I hope to God it's not in you, because then you're an evil, evil freaking human being. But
we will come back. We are going to the top of the hour. There's no news now at the top of our hour, so we'll see you in 4 minutes with our guests soon to be on. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you in a minute. Oh, let me do this. Lisa and Robin on the mic, WSMN, 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen.
And please hit like and subscribe.
Please hit like and subscribe. Apparently that's important.
We're calling for your support.
Please help us. We'll see you in a minute.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN.live.
I am Elena Dries, nurse practitioner at Altrix Primary Care, located right here in Nashua, New Hampshire at 57 Northeastern Boulevard. At Altrix Primary Care, we are dedicated expert nurse practitioners who provide high-quality, comprehensive primary care services for people of all ages, from newborns to older adults. Our nursing model of care is distinctive because it's unhurried, high-personalized, easily accessible healthcare for you and your family. Visit us online at altrixpc.com/Nashua or give us a call at 603-821-4009. That is 603-821-4009. Altrix Primary Care, changing the future of primary care for you and your family.
Have you tried to quit drinking before, and much to your surprise and dismay, you couldn't? Have you tried therapy, meetings, and treatment programs, but still can't seem to stay stopped? Or maybe you live in fear that you'll lose your job, your home, or your family, and much more if you don't get this figured out, and soon. Well, there is hope. My name is Bill Nielsen, and I'm the founder of Nascent 24 Recovery and Life Coaching. And I struggled for over a decade. Yup, 10 years, trying to get it right. I lost jobs, 5 6-figure jobs in fact, homes, friends, relationships. I thought I'd never get off the merry-go-round or the roller coaster, but I did, and I've developed a proven proprietary process that works. Why does it work? Because it addresses the root cause and not the symptoms. No more Band-Aids on bullet wounds. It's a 12-week journey that will transform your entire life, not just the drinking thing. I work one-on-one with every single client, and your privacy and anonymity are paramount. The great part is that you don't have to leave your home, your job, or your family. Text me the word recovery to 203-241-1266. That's 203-241-1266. Or visit my website, nascent24.com, NASCENT24.com. There is a solution. Take the first step. You won't regret it.
Hi Nashua, I'm Perry Cataldo from Choice Benefit Services, your local insurance agent that has dedicated himself to all the Medicare plans in New Hampshire. Whether you're just turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I'll explain all your Medicare options and extra benefits that you hear so much about. I ensure you're getting all you're entitled to and all that you deserve. Nashua, don't get fooled again this year. Call Perry Cataldo at 603-461-5550. That's 603-461-5550. Or visit me online at cbsnh.com. That's cbsnh.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, health is wealth.
Hi, my name is Cody, and I am the Assistant Director of the Nashua Community Music School. I wanted to give you a heads up about our biggest concert event of the year, Play It Forward, happening on Saturday, August 24th at the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. We'll have students from our NCMS rock band, as well as special guest performers with our house band, culminating with an epic concert with local rock and roll legends Aces and Eights. Don't miss out on our back-to-school bash. Tickets and event sponsorships can be purchased online at nashuacms.org, or you can give us a call at 603-881-7030. We can't wait to rock out alongside all of our friends this summer.
Are you or your loved ones in need of compassionate care in the comfort of your own home? Look no further than Heaven Sent Home Care. Heaven Sent knows the importance of personalized care tailored to your unique needs. Whether it is assistance with daily activities, medication management, or specialized medical care, our compassionate caregivers are ready to provide the highest quality of in-home care. The services provided by Heaven Sent Home Care extend beyond physical care. They also offer companionship, ensuring that you or your loved ones have someone to share stories, laughters, and meaningful moments with. Experience the peace of mind that comes with knowing your loved ones are in capable hands. Or visit us online at heavensenthomecarellc.com to schedule a consultation and learn more about the comprehensive range of services provided. Heaven Sent Home Care, where care and compassion come together.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome back to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live, as well as Facebook, as long as it doesn't restrict us again, YouTube, and everywhere that podcasts are played. So we are at the top of the hour. I have something very exciting. We have a guest on, Mr. Corey Gale. We were on the Jim Lawrence show, and he gave us our theme music, which we picked at the very last minute.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm actually going to put Corey's song on as his theme music.
Yes!
Hold on one sec. Here we go.
Do you have it queued up?
I do have it queued up. Are you ready to listen to Mr. Corey Gale?
Been wanting you and needing you. Our future, I can see what you where you at when I need you. It was me and you and me. Us what it's supposed to be, at least it's what I thought it was. All I need is your love. I like when you like me. All I need is your trust. I ain't gonna lie. You all I need, what you want me to say. What you want me to do, I do it today. I do it for you. He ain't gonna do what he say he gonna do. I think you the one, girl, I'm on to you. You make me want you and I don't want to. But if you reassure me, I won't ask. I knew I could trust you. I would do whatever you want, whenever you want to. You be doing you and doing me what he don't do. Look at me still doing what that brother don't do. But you can't see me like the way I see you. I'd be like, sorry, the fact that you made me change my mind, I didn't want that. But if you reassure me, I won't ask. If you had my love, I gave you all my trust, you comfort me. And if somehow you knew that your love would be a truth, you lied for me.
So I love the bass.
Wow.
Welcome, Mr. Corey Gale.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
So I got to pick the song. Corey let me pick which song we were going to play, and I really loved that one. I listened to it the whole way in, over and over again. I really love that one. There's a few that I really love. So I'm going to give a quick little background about you.
Okay.
You sent me a bio in which you said that you've experienced a remarkable transformation that you feel compelled to share.
Yeah.
That you were born in 1977, so I'm 5 years older than you. I'm still a baby. During a period of uncertainty and without parental guidance, you found a guiding light in your spiritual parents, Pastor Mark and Pastor Andrea. Over 8 impactful years, their ministry played a pivotal role in shaping your life. At the age of 12, you were involved in a car accident that claimed your mom's life. And I do think that kind of tragedy that touches people like that, it sends you in a whole new trajectory.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
And despite your challenging past, you grew up to become a successful owner of a mortgage company, only to lose it during 2008, which is the story for many of us.
Oh, yeah.
Rising.
Where's my shirt?
Where's your shirt? Rising from the ashes, you dedicated yourself to financial planning, determined to teach people how money really works through the lessons you learned personally. You're now a successful financial planner. You enjoy a blissful marriage with your wife, Katrina, and you proudly raise 5 children. The joy extends further with 3 wonderful grandchildren. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glampa. I'm going to call you Glampa because
I'll
you're so
take it.
glamorous.
I love that.
I like that. Can we patent that?
We can.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get back on that.
Hashtag
So
Glampa.
if you can,
I love it.
If you can see Corey, he always looks fabulous. So we're going to talk about clothes too next. So, and in the last year, you signed a record label because you do music on the side as well. You're on the verge of becoming an author with your first book, being the start of many to come. And your story caught the attention of Hollywood talent agent who is helping you spread your message across the world. And we, on Lisa and Robin on the mic, are going to help you spread that as well.
Oh, praise God.
So-
That's what's up.
Heck
So
yes.
welcome. So tell me a little bit about losing your mom at 12.
Absolutely. So, that's a day that I'll never forget, that it's been etched in my mind, because that weekend I had spent with my father, and when I came on Sunday, I had missed church. Now, when she was coming down the stairs, everyone was saying, "Wow, what's wrong with your mother? What's up with her?" And I didn't know what they meant. And then they said that she was praising God for like too long and stopped the service for like 30 minutes. And I remember, I didn't know, but I took the opportunity to ask her for some ice cream.
Absolutely.
It was a win.
Yes.
Right.
So
Got to get those wins in.
you got to get it when you can. So when she said yes, I was taken back, but I went with it. So we went to the first ice cream place, and ironically, they ran out of ice cream. So on the way to the second ice cream place is when her last words were, "Look how fast those 2 cars are going." And we were hit by 2 teenage drag racers on the highway, which caused our car to flip over. And my whole family was in the car, all 5 of us. And yeah, she was the only fatality. And in that time where she passed, God chose me to be the one person to help her transition with some of the things that I said to her. And I think that today is what I still do. If I see somebody that's hurting, I have I can feel it and I could try to reach them.
Are you willing to share some of the things that you said? Like,
Yeah,
did
I
it come
can.
over you, or was it a
Come
I mean,
through
you
you
were,
almost?
You were 12.
Correct.
So, like, at the time, so as a man now, you can look back and say, you can say that phrase that you just said, that, you know, he used to say those, to speak into her. Tell me what it was like for you being a 12-year-old, and how did you know those words to speak? Was it just something that an overwhelming, like, how do you know the right words to say?
Man,
Like,
you're-
you know what I mean?
You're good, Robin.
Well, I'm just trying to say, like, because I feel like she has an experience with, you know, John's grandmother, and I feel like we all have those experiences and all those moments, but I just wanted you to take it back to, because I think I hear you saying that you had an angel, or you had God that was speaking to you, and so that's what I want. Like, how did you know?
I get it. Great question. And when I was knocked unconscious, and then when I woke up, you know, I seen, you know, some graphic things from my older sister. You know, there was some injuries there, and I did not know who was beside me because the car, it was so crushed. They said no one should have survived. So I was at an angle, like a twister position angle, where someone was beside me, and I thought it was my sister, but it wasn't. And as I was hearing her, you know, breathe, you know, faintly, I dissociated, and it was like a dream. And God gave me the words to let her know it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. You can go now, Mommy. And then she, you know, I remember when she took her final breath, and I think a part of me, I died that night, and somebody else has been living, trying to relive. But my main goal here on this world is to touch people's souls and connect with people, and use that tragedy to dig in, get over that wall that they have up. We met each other at the grocery store, Lisa, you and I. Ironically, look where we are today. That's how God is. All things work for the glory of the Lord. So all those things that happened is for God's glory to be done. So my mother was a seed to my grandkids. So
Yeah. And I think, like, I think back to when my father died, and he was very religious, and he wanted to die because he wanted to go to heaven. He didn't want to extend his life on this earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
He didn't want to be an old man. He didn't want to go through becoming an old man and becoming, you know, less robust,
Yes.
what we'll say. And I was always like upset at that at 14. You know, as a young girl, you don't want to hear
No.
that you're rushing
Of
out
course not.
of this world, right? But I remember when they said he was going to be passing soon.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, I can see the light. And I think that's very common when people are getting ready to pass. And I noticed, like, his eyes roll up, almost like he's looking up.
Yeah.
And I remember being so excited for him that I said, if you can see it, can you get there? I said, go. I remember being so out of my own experience.
It wasn't you.
And being in his experience. And being like, if you could go. And then he passes, and I'm like, what?
What'd you do?
What is happening?
Yeah.
What the hell?
What'd you listen to me for?
I didn't mean that. You know, you start doing that whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is some, you know, and I think people come into your life, and I think people who have a tragedy, I just feel so much more connected to people.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something that makes you strong. In that strength is what is the attractant. You know, and then when I saw you rapping and singing on Facebook, you're like, what is he doing? What is he doing now? I want to be a part of this. He looks like he's having fun.
I want him.
I want to have this fun. You're having fun without me? Do you know that we are, like,
I love
in charge
that.
of fun?
I didn't even know.
So before we get on that,
Miss Moss.
I wanted to just say what I heard you saying is, so my sticking point, one of the words that you said, sticking point, is that day that you died. In the words that came after that, I was like, no, that's not right. You didn't die that day. To me, what I heard you say is that day you were born. The connection between you and God was opened. And even though it was a painful way, that was like a birth.
Yes.
That was laying something old down. And you knew that you were being handed this responsibility.
Yeah.
Subconsciously.
You're right.
You knew. And so I just wanted to say that before we move on
Well
to a
said.
different thing. And I was like, wow, I don't know why I had such a reaction when you said die, because I was like, wow, what you just did for her was a beautiful thing. And I think that that was the moment of you opening. Sounds weird, like Alien or something, but
Yeah.
that was a birth. That was an opening of a direct connection, that vibration, that energy. And I think that we as humans, we don't understand all of the power when we are open.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why you have experiences with people around death is because you have an open, direct line, and you're used for your power to ground somebody, to love somebody, and to give them a gift, and to give them peace and comfort through that transition. And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. A piece of me died, but I was reborn that day. So that's definitely a detail I didn't mention. Thank you for that revelation.
Well, I didn't mean to
No, that's
pick the
good.
words apart, but I was like, wow, to me, I didn't see that as a death. I mean, we're shedding our old skin,
Yeah.
And it says, there's so many things I think about when in the reference to the Bible about dying to self.
Yeah.
And I think dying to self is laying down your ego or laying down your wounds, laying down the trauma for the good, seeking the good.
You have to cast your cares, and that was the hardest thing to learn, is how do you let it go? How do you truly surrender? And that's how you know when you trust God, when no matter what you're going through, you just let it go and you trust God, and then you'll see this miraculous thing happen once you can let go. So he doesn't need your money. He doesn't need any of that. He's doing that as a test to see if you trust him. So one of the sticking points that you mentioned in Robin's words is when you said that that I was born. We're like the Avengers. We all have different superpowers. It's a real thing. We all have a different anointing, and when we all work together, that is how we're going to be able to touch people across the world. So when we touch on the book, I can see what God is doing. I met Lisa on a different real estate thing, but this was all building blocks for where we are today.
Dude, I've got cold chills. Like even
Is it cold chills or
my-
goosebumps? I just want to be clear on
I don't
what
know.
physical reaction you're having.
Like my skin is all bumpy. Like I think even my toes feel it. Like, I do. I feel like a live wire. Like,
Amen.
but I know because I think that the vibration and the frequency is this is my goal. Like, how can I live in this
It's familiar.
frequency
Yes.
all the time?
All the time. And we're supposed to. We're supposed to, because remember, when there's storms happening, it wasn't Chicken Little running around the skies falling. Jesus took a nap. So let's talk about when you're stressed out or whatever the situation is. You going to take a nap? And if you're not, that means we're not where we need to be. So we need to start taking more naps through the trauma and strife and stress.
Well, boy, I've been changing my whole thought. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and, I heard what little did I go, that sunk in. My interpretation of joy and suffering was that you actually had to like the fact that you were suffering. That's how little that I know. But as a kid, but now it's come back to me so many times. And so now I've actually just catchphrased, and it's the next quote that goes on our chalkboard in our kitchen. What joy do you bring? And if we start coming from that place of like, what joy are we adding, or what joy are we bringing to the table?
Yeah.
A lot of other stuff for me, and everybody's words are different, or phrases are different, or whatever gets you going. But I have found that what he means is joy in the suffering. Find the beauty, find the grace, find the gratitude, see the beauty in the things that are happening, no matter what it can be raining hellfire, and brimstone, but being grounded, being centered in here, and not letting that steal your joy, is to me. And so I can't change. And I think a lot of those things, my little phrases are coming up to that when I would say, check your stuff at the door. Who's showing up right now? Are you going to bring your bad energy from the workday into home life? Because we now have a dynamic. So it's, again, actively choosing to say, hey, I can't control this, but I can control this by the energy and by the joy that I bring.
I love that. And just like love is a choice, when you're in a relationship over for X amount of time, we have to choose to love and do what we got to do regardless of how we feel. You have to make a conscious choice. Like, one of the things for me that I've always enjoyed was making strangers smile, connecting with strangers. The Bible says you're going to cross angels, you're not going to even know it was them. So I'll just go by somebody and say, hey, we'll just cross some paths, never see him again, but we'll have such a genuine moment for 5 seconds. I'm like, all right, I'll see you on Judgment Day. TTA, TTYL, So that's what we got to do. We got to be a blessing to other people, because you don't know what they're going through. And that's one of the blessings of my tragedy is when you're in a predicament where you're upside down and your mother's passing away, how bad is your bills being behind, really?
Right.
Yeah, what matters?
It's a POV. It's a different perspective, so I see it. But yeah, this is awesome. I love this show.
Yeah. So one of the things I think of in everything that happened, people passing away or different things, tragedies or different things, I always think of that before and after moment. Before, I was one person, but now that I have this experience, I will never be the previous person again.
Correct.
Because I have this experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my cousin recently lost her husband suddenly, 38 years old, died. And my heart broke for her, because I'm like, she has a 11-year-old daughter, and their lives are, that before moment, all those before moments are, everyone's a different person. Because you can't experience life in that way without being changed.
Absolutely.
So part of the problem that I think I had with some of my tragedies was a turning my back on God. Almost like a rebellion. I'm not believing in this. I'm not giving this. How could you let this happen? That whole thing. Because it was a childish understanding of what God is.
Right.
And it wasn't until... And I remember during that time trying to fill the space where God belonged with Mother Nature, like trying to find it anywhere I could.
Yeah.
I found it a lot in Mother Nature. How many different birds do we have on the planet?
Yeah.
Every time I saw a bird, I'd be like, and that's a different bird.
Yeah.
How did that get created? Or a different animal, or how many types of pine trees, or how many types of palm trees, or the ocean. I think of our ocean as Mother Nature's womb to our world.
That's beautiful.
And how and then I would go to read about all these different religions and how did they come to God?
Yeah.
And I loved that in the Indians, the Native American Indians believe that God is in everything. But it allows them to say if they have to kill an animal to eat.
Yeah.
It allows them, then they wear the skin and whatever. But they are grateful.
Yeah.
And they embody the spirit of what they're consuming. It's so different than industrial farming.
I see. Totally different.
So I was always trying to grasp to try to replace the actual thing that I laid down.
Yeah.
And then it was, I spoke to you a couple of years ago. You just popped back up, as you do. As you do.
We had this conversation at a supermarket parking lot.
And then we're sitting in the coffee shop, and I'm like, I don't know how to pray anymore. Like, it's like...
Well, I like what Corey said, and everything does happen for a reason, and people will come and go. And what's really cool is if you pause and stop to think about it's been leading to this moment.
Yeah.
In like all of these things back. Just we had a guest on a while back, Nick, and he's in real estate. He's in real estate and investing and all this stuff too. Well, and it was just weird because Nick has known my husband independently for 15 years.
Wow.
Chris my husband knew Lisa independently 15 years.
What?
Nick and Lisa knew each other independently.
that's
So
a
there's
design.
and now I'm in it. And now like
Right.
he's here and I'm like, wow, it's you can see God aligning and you can
Yes.
stacking, in a much more clear
Yeah.
way that you can actively see, or I'm choosing to say, I'm actively choosing. I know God is putting people in my place,
Yes.
in my circle, very intentionally and very specifically.
And that's awesome because now you can be ready and open and vulnerable and listen to what the God is saying.
Yeah.
You're prepared. That's
Trying.
great awareness.
Well, so the other thing when you said, love is a verb, and we have had we've had conversations before at home, and I said, because Chris had said, love is action. But there's two other words. There's faith and hope. Faith, hope, and love. Those are action words too. And we have to put intention behind them, and intention is action before it.
I didn't understand that faith was an action word
But
until recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
and
didn't
a lot of
understand
people don't. They just
Yeah.
say, you have to have faith. No,
No.
it's something that you actually. It's a muscle.
Faith
that you
without works is dead.
Yes.
So it's an action. I was saying love is a choice,
Yes,
Yes.
love is a choice.
but yeah,
yes.
faith without works is dead.
Yes.
You
But-
can't just bliss out and just have faith and they're taking your furniture.
You have to actively choose. But those are both. So those are the
Too soon?
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
But those two are two other words that are mentioned
Yeah.
over and over and over again that have to have action behind them
Yeah.
as well.
I agree.
It's not just love. And
No.
you have to have faith and hope. Growing up in a Southern Baptist, I always thought that you have to pray and you're like, Dear Heavenly Father, and it was just all like even in my kid brain.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of bumps and the other day Chris shows me this video, sends me the video. There's literally water flooding from the hot water heater in the office. And his landlord said, well, that's on you. All that damage is on you. And you're
Wow.
like, are you kidding me? So I'm driving over there. I'm racing over there. And then mind you, I have two 22-year-olds that I am party planning for at this moment. So I'm cooking and frenzy, crazy. So I'm getting in the car and I'm like, I just need to calm down. And I'm talking to God and I'm like, people are probably going to, whatever, I don't care. I'm real with him. Like I feel like I tease, I say, well, I am his wingman.
Nice.
I say,
Well, I'm his favorite, so third place isn't bad.
I'm like, dude, I'm his wingman. I got it. And he's like, what? He's like, that's so cocky. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm just like, I'm saying it playfully, but that's my connection to God. I've learned for me, I don't have to have that flowery speech. I'm real. He knows my heart more than what's words coming out of my mouth. He already knows it. And I was like, dude, I just said to him driving down the road, I'm like, dude, I cannot handle anymore. Like, it is really coming down on me, and I am really fighting not going down a bad hole
Yeah.
of just being negative. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this angry right now. I don't want to be this frustrated. But I'm like, it actually allows me, I feel like I'm having a real conversation and it's not flowery. He knows my heart. And I do feel like I have a connection. And so I would say that to the people that I love the most. That's how I would talk to them the most. Some people would say that's really wrong, but I'm
No,
like,
that's a beautiful thing. That actually touched me. Your story there, because I know you have a few different listeners, and there's a space between something happens and then the reaction. You have the conscious of mind to pray and to have a conversation with God and change that whole dynamic. So now your response and the way you carry it, your trajectory, is totally different. That's what people, we call it triggered. Oh, I triggered. I triggered. Because of your relationship with God, you put the safety on the trigger, on the gun.
well, it did. So when I showed up at the office, there's only a 15, 20-minute drive. By the time I showed up at the office, I was like, all right, what do you need me to do?
So imagine
Here we
if
are.
everybody can do that.
Yes,
Just
it's
slow
that
down and
easy,
pray.
and it doesn't have to be like I'm real. I'm me. God made me to be me. He knows I'm mouthy. He knows I'm sarcastic.
He gives her
right.
some good zingers.
Yeah.
Dude. Chris said to me the other day, and I'm like, I actually like that. I can resonate with it. He's like, you are a junkyard dog. You've had to fight your way up. And I'm like, there isn't any other way to be real. And so if I can't have a real conversation with him, but that anger is like, I am giving it to you. I am having a real conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And I am bringing my frustration to you, right to you. I don't feel like I have to sugarcoat. I don't feel like I have to sugarcoat it. I grew up being fearful of God and thinking that I'm going to go to hell for a bad thought or the way that I talk to him.
Yeah.
So there is a little part of me that, like, this is the first time I've really shared that publicly. Like, I don't talk to, like, and there are moments that I do.
Yeah.
But when I'm bringing my anger and my hurt and my frustration, I am talking to you real, and I do feel like there's a lot of power in it, and my energy it does change it. So I love the way you worded that space in between.
Absolutely.
That transition.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand how to cast their cares, and it's still a struggle. How do you just let it go? And it's through prayer. It's through prayer and just. You take it, God, just like you said. So that's actually something I'm going to take with me. Thank you, Robin.
So I think one of the things that transitioned for me when I was raised Roman Catholic, and you ask God for things, right? So then when God doesn't answer in the way you want, you get that teenagery.
Snapping fingers.
Right. So when I came back into praying, instead of asking for something, I would offer a thanks.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
So that's the way.
Beautiful.
So now every prayer, when I am nervous, my immediate thing is to go back to that Roman Catholic, pray that they're okay, and then I pray, thank you. Thank you for keeping my family safe. Thank you for handling that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything becomes a thanks.
Yeah.
And that's the way I got myself into praying. I don't ask for anything now.
Yeah.
Now I'm thankful.
That's beautiful.
And it makes me feel calmer.
Yeah.
Where the asking would make me feel like I should be receiving something.
Yeah, it's a petition. You're in court.
Right.
A motion. That's a beautiful thing how you do it, because when I call it praising God on credit, if we can really start praising God and then be thankful and gratefulness, and then obviously the manifestation, it's a vibration, a frequency. That's the key, is to be thankful, because I do it subconsciously. When I see a guy in a wheelchair, I'm grateful. I say, thank you, God, for, what he's done to protect me, because I didn't have to be whole. I'm a miracle. So gratitude is deep down in my heart.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And I think that's the way I transitioned from being that rotten teenager towards faith, which I had held for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember this is one of those things of people come in and they leave something with you that I wrestled with this one a long time, but my father had been passed away 10 years. I was 34 years old. This woman comes into my real estate office and she wants to buy a property for her daughter. And I can tell right away she's slightly crazy.
Okay. How do you really feel?
Right. And
don't hold back on my account.
Well, because she's saying things
don't
that
have a
were
lot of
like,
filters.
we can't say that in the fair housing world.
Okay,
I'm
yes.
a realtor. You can't
Yes.
say, I don't want to buy a house that so-and-so lived in. Like, you
Correct.
can't say that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking crazy.
Got it.
Right? I'm thinking crazy.
I'm with you.
But I'm like, all right, we'll try to help her find a place. And I'm showing her properties, and she turns to me, and she says, why don't you love God anymore? You were raised to love God. Why don't you have God in your heart anymore? And I was like, the word I would say
Oh my goodness.
began with a B, and I was
Yes.
like, who do you think you're
Yes.
talking to? And then I'm like, man, how do you know that? Like,
Yes.
how is it like on me?
Ooh.
Right?
That's.
And so then I said, because I prayed my father wouldn't die, and he died anyways. I'm mad. I think that was my response, or something equivalent to that. And then she said, do you think your father's in heaven and he wants you to be sad that he's gone? Do you think he wants you to waste any of your time on earth that is so precious that you are upset that he is gone? He is in heaven.
Doesn't pay dividends to be upset. Yeah,
Right.
She was absolutely
And
right.
I was like, man, this crazy woman.
This crazy woman's smart.
Making sense left and right.
Who are you?
She doesn't say most of the things that come out of her mouth we should not be allowed to say,
Yes.
especially on television. But
Yes.
this right here is so spot on. And from that point forward, I was like, every time I would be so sad that I couldn't experience something with him here,
Yeah.
I would be like, I can. He doesn't want me mad. He doesn't want, and it really helped to transition because I was grieving my father, like the day after he died for 10 years at least.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
Everything I did wrong as a young kid, like everything.
Yeah.
It was holding on to the grief.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it transition into the next phase, which is we all die.
Yeah.
And he is exactly where he wants to be.
And that I relate with you because I used to do that with the guilt. Why did I have to be the one to ask for the ice cream? Why me? Why did I? So there's a guilt thing, and what it is a stronghold that the enemy will use to keep you in a certain situation. Because when we get the awareness, like you finally get the awareness, now look at how many people you're touching. If you were still stuck in that state, would you have 500,000 listeners or whatnot?
Yeah,
it's a trap. It's a speed bump. So I thank God for that crazy lady.
Yeah, I do too, because it was really funny because she never bought anything.
All due respect.
We never had any conversation after that, but I was like, man, the way I do believe people come in and out of your life for a reason.
Yeah.
I do believe in that.
Yeah.
And I want to be in and out of people's lives for a reason.
Gotcha.
And
make a difference.
I do believe that I am a safe vessel for people to tell things to that they don't want to tell anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like to unburden themselves, almost like a confession.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like I must have that gift I didn't know I had because everyone does it. So then I'm like, okay, so this is my gift, is that people could tell me anything, and I'm
you're a good listener and a good communicator.
Yeah. So but there are so many other things that as they come in pieces, and then so you've overcome so much, and is it your faith in God that allows you to overcome the next thing? Like you say, your mom passing away, and then you don't have real direction from parents, and then you're successful, and then the economy crashes, and then all of this. Is it always a turning towards faith that allows you to overcome the obstacle?
Correct. When I came to when I was unconscious and then I came conscious, I did hear Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. That's what my sister was running around the car outside saying. So that was like when I was reborn, like Robin said, that was the foundation, was Jesus. So coming up, I always had enthusiasm of life. I worked at D'Angelo's and I was selling people subs. They're coming for subs, and I'm like, take tomatoes. I'm like, Corey, I get tomatoes every day. Like, relax. So I had this zeal of really just trying to touch people and just do my best. So one thing led to another, and God blessed me with a successful mortgage company in the early 2000s. So I'm making more money than I could ever imagine, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have no big brother. I got no mom, no dad. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So the enemy robbed me because I wasn't tithing. I wasn't living the way I should have been living. So 2008 came. I was one of the people that lost my shirt. Lost all 10 houses, lost all my friends, all these people, all these haters, they wanted me to fall. And I was able to find out who my friends were at that point. So all things work for the good. Now that I lost all that, then I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and teach people how to keep it. And now I do life insurance because obviously God kept me alive to help people with the life insurance. A lot of family members are dying. They don't have the resources. They want to go to GoFundMe in a time like that. Like, you can't really be thinking of that stuff when you're going through grief.
Yes.
And then it's funny because with this whole music thing, I just started freestyling and just rapping, and it sounded crazy. People thought I was nuts, and I'm like, I don't know, I enjoy it. And then now you're saying you like it, and then now it just played on the radio. I never would imagine this song playing on the radio. And then I got signed by a record label.
Yeah, so tell us about that. Like, we don't have enough time. And I'm like, I mean, you're going to have to come back because I want to hear the whole story. But I'm like, so we're going to have to hit the highlight reels because it's fascinating. I really wanted you to take us on the journey from the 12-year-old to where you are now.
Yeah.
But
I way more time.
I know.
Yeah,
well, we're a little mouthy too.
Yeah,
so
we
we're
went
like,
all over the place. Yeah. Was that Alvin?
Might have been.
That was good.
That was a rewind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was it? I'm still waiting for her to do her rewind fast forward. She does it really good.
Okay.
I have to
do
be
it on
in the
demand.
moment. No, I can't do it on demand. I have to feel it.
No. So how did you get picked up by the Hollywood label?
Oh my goodness! I was at the 110 restaurant hanging with my wife. Katrina was just eating, having a good time. Somebody came over to me. He said something brought him over to me, a warmth that he saw, a light. Asked me what I like to do, and I said I like to do music. And he goes, "My best friend is Mark Schoen, and he is a successful Hollywood producer. You should give him a call." I spoke to Mark. He said I could feel something through you over the Zoom, and he goes, "What do you like to do?" I said, music. He goes, "You're too old. That's not going to happen. You're aged out. Gray beard.
Can I interrupt
Not going to
here?
happen."
Can I
Yes,
hear?
yes, ma'am.
So the minute he says no, that anti-authority, don't be telling me his no. I'm going to put him on the radio. I'm going to make him a star.
When somebody,
I love his
Yes.
music, and I'm making him a star. I don't care what you say, Mr.
Yes.
Hollywood. I'm not impressed
Yes.
with everybody. You should.
Yes.
That was the immediate,
Yes.
ruffled my feathers. I was
Yeah.
standing all up. Go
Yeah,
ahead, continue
mine
to tell
was
your
a
story.
big swallow.
Yeah, you were like,
Uh,
oh man,
I'm like, yeah,
hurt my feelings.
that was
I
me.
really like that.
I really enjoy it. And he goes, "What do you love? What are you really, really, really passionate about?" And I said, "God and my faith." And he goes, "Okay, I'm going to give you an idea that I could have given it to anyone, but there's something special about you, and I'm telling you, this is going to be big. It's going to happen. This idea." And he gave me the idea, and I put up the book together. Took me around 5 months, and now I'm at the point. I'm like 2 weeks away from publishing it.
Yay!
And it's copyrighted and everything. And
you're
it's-
going to send us a copy, right?
Absolutely,
I have a
Or
absolutely.
preview.
hand deliver it and be on our show
Absolutely.
again.
And then the title of the book is "You Don't Need a Dictionary to Talk to God."
Oh, I love
Which
that.
is exactly what you were talking about. We think we need this language.
Mm-hmm.
We think we
Oh,
need
that's
the
funny.
right things. I thought I needed something. It's when you
Keep it a buck. I mean, keep it real.
yeah
There's
yeah
two ways to say that.
yeah when you feel it, you don't have to say it. You have to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel it is the feeling is the vibration. It's not the words.
Right.
We're always trying to put our feeling into words. We're
Yes.
trying to communicate
Yes.
these
Yes.
cells that are vibrating around.
Well, and I think that's why you and I are very, I don't know, wordsmiths.
Yes, because
To
we're
say
trying
it's
to.
like, well, no, because one wrong adjective does not convey how I'm feeling it. And literally when I'm speaking, I'm trying to give you my feeling of how I'm sharing it. Because Chris is like, well, you just said that. And I'm like, no, it didn't pack the punch. Like the way
Well,
I feel it. And
yeah.
not that I'm trying to drive it home, but I am trying to drive it home. Packing a punch kind of seems negative, but I want it to be as impactful for you that it is how it was impactful for me.
Absolutely. I get that.
So what inspired the book? Just your journey of
It's I have my personal testimony in there, and I gathered 30 other people with their personal testimonies in there as well. And this journey is putting me on the phone with some interesting celebrities that is like, how did I get here? Why am I talking to you? So it's a weird thing that's happening.
Can I talk about how you show up in the world?
Sure, yes.
Fabulous. Every time I see you on Facebook, every time I see you in person, you are looking styling.
Thank you so much.
You look. Tell me about your clothes. How
I
much
like
do
to
you
say
love
fly
clothes?
because
Fly.
that is
Yeah.
like
The vibe.
well, when I came back from the break and I was coming through the door, I was like, he's here.
Smell him. He smells fantastic.
I smell man. I'm like, that smells good.
Oh man, thank you guys. That was very, very kind.
Oh,
I feel
anyway,
you're very
so
conscientious in your style and how you bring yourself forward. Tell me about
yeah,
your
it's
style.
it's interesting because I just love fashion. You know, I love just putting something together in your head that doesn't look right in your head, but when you put it on, it pops. And I just always loved it. And it's interesting because I was told that Corey, you dress so fancy that you're probably hurting your business.
How?
Because if you're so flashy and you're just loving yourself, it could look like too much in sales. And it really hit me. Like, I'm like, so do I gotta stop dressing up? Like now I'm having a battle. I need to be authentic. Regardless if you think I have it or not, you should see my heart, do business with me for that.
right.
So it turns out that a few people have been telling me to dress down. So keep it real.
When I first moved up here, and I started as an adult.
Don't let anyone tell you that you're too much. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. You are never too much to be yourself.
No.
Okay, thank you.
You are never too much.
So somebody, a friend of mine, my best friend at the time, and said, "You don't dress like you're from around here." And I was like, And so I did. I went to the grays, blues, blacks, white, solid color,
Never
blah,
gonna
blah,
be
blah.
happy.
And then I actually had twins, and I was like, are you kidding me? I had a daughter, and I was like, I don't have anything pink in my closet.
Wow.
I have no pink. And so I was like, I'm going to start dressing for me.
Be you.
I'm going to dress for my energy. I'm going to dress. So we were just talking about earlier before you came on the show about how we actually use clothes as art. It's an expression of our energy and our vibration.
Yes.
And so I was also going to say, we're talking about alignment over assignment. Sometimes the people who you're aligned with is way more important than your job, your assignment that you're tasked with. And so the people that are going to criticize you, because we're also talking about opinions this morning too, they're not your people. If they don't want to know or understand that I'm going to get to know who this human being is, I'm just going to judge or give them advice about their outfit or the way, their house or the cars they drive or anything. You're already casting a judgment with actually getting to know me. So you know what? You've just done my job for me. Like
it says more about them than it does about you.
It's kind of like the universe, saying, "Hey, these might not be your people."
Yeah, but at the same time,
that's how I look at it, because it took me a long time to learn who I was. I'm still learning who I am. And if I want to wear a cute freaking outfit, I'm going to wear a cute freaking outfit.
Yeah.
Even if it's to Walmart.
I get it. And at the same time, I did have the open mind and to just kind of like look at it from another person's perspective. If I'm pulling up in this kind of car and I got this vanity plate that it's not vanity, it's just funny. It's, I almost mentioned it, but I'm not. So
don't put a target on your back.
I'm a boss, but you can mute that. So, and I'm walking and all this extra stuff. Maybe sitting to talk about life insurance is like, why is this guy? Maybe it's a thing, but you have to have an open mind.
Yes.
But what I did was I processed it. I looked at the mirror. I really looked at my motives of why I dress the way I do, and it's because I love myself and I want to present myself the best way that I could, that I can. And the exterior is great, but it's about the inner work too. That's where the real attraction is. It's not the exterior. It's the light that is on the inside. So what I did was I started putting down some dope dressing down outfits.
Yes.
Like some T-shirts and dress pants that people ain't doing.
Yes.
So I played with a few things. So I actually got some
more
swag
creative
on that. So good looks on that.
I can wear a Walmart tank top,
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
I'm
can
saying.
wear American Eagle jeans and with a Gucci belt,
I'm
man.
telling you, let's go.
Subtle.
With the hat to
I
the side.
even make
let's
this
go.
look good. I make a trash bag look good.
That's what's up.
Heck yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, so I mean,
This
there
is
is a way to
great.
dress. Like I wouldn't wear specifically certain things,
Well, we always want to be appropriate.
All
So
right,
I'm
so
not going to wear a bathing suit to a funeral,
No.
right? Obviously.
No, we're talking about overdressing,
Yes.
not being inappropriate. We're talking about
Yes, and I don't
doing
think
the
you can be
most.
overdressed.
So
in
I'm going to
my
share something
opinion.
funny with you. And how much clothes are a part of my life. And I think that they've always been. I think I don't know if that's true for everybody. So for Father's Day, I took Chris to Manchester to the Candlelight concert. They had the Vivaldi Four Seasons, and I love Vivaldi. So the whole stage is all candles, and it's a 4-piece quartet.
Yeah.
And I am watching, and we're close. We're in the front row, and I'm watching the violinists as I'm watching the energy move through their body, how they're handling each piece and their head. So we left, I said to Chris, I'm like, dude, if I were on first chair, I already have my outfit picked out. I would have blonde, curly hair, red lipstick. I would have my one-piece
I love
cat
that.
suit.
I love that.
It's like a fishnet cat suit, but it's got these the floral appliques all in the right spot, so it's just a little bit of peekaboo. And then I would have some red bottom heels, some Louboutins.
Oh, okay.
Playing my violin. He's like, you got that all picked out? And he's like, what the hell goes through your mind? And I'm like, I'm
am I
just
wearing?
saying, if I was first chair
Yeah.
playing the violin, that's what I'd be wearing.
I think I might do that too.
Because watching them, and that's the best way for me to describe it, watching them allow the music to move through their body. Their eyes and her hair and the passion in which I was like, man, I love music.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm like, this is what I would be wearing to make the best of the moment inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you took your love and actually put it out into the world. That you, because I don't know that we would have reconnected the same way we did without me seeing you rapping.
Oh, wow.
On Facebook, because we were connected.
Yeah, but we were like on a business tip.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until I was like, is he having fun? I see him dancing. They've got this whole dance party thing. I'm like, I was not invited to a dance party. Does he not know how
You
much
saw
I
me
like to
dancing?
dance? Yes, you had. So I saw, I want to say maybe it was April or maybe it was a little earlier, but you had your rap one, and then the next one is Katrina and everybody dancing in some like hall. And I'm like, where is this club?
Where's this hall?
Where is this club that they've just like brought in their
Oh,
JBL
yes, I did
speakers?
a song. I did another song.
Yes.
And I partnered with a dance studio.
And I'm like,
Yes.
I wasn't invited. Does he know? I don't think he knows I need to be invited. I want to go.
I think I sent an invitation. I'm not sure.
No,
No.
you didn't.
Where
No, I
do,
didn't. I'm
where
sorry.
do you
Next time.
play?
I play the drums.
But do
So
you,
he's going to play the drums for us here
Sweet.
at the
oh my
end.
gosh.
That's
well,
fun.
we got 5 minutes.
5
and I'm like, I
minutes.
feel panicked because
Love
I
it.
don't want this to end.
I know. That's why it's going to be a common thing.
Yes, we're gonna
Yes.
we're
It's
gonna have
kind
him
of
on
like
again.
we could name the show Three's Company. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to come
love
on
it.
too strong, but Three's Company when I'm here.
Yes.
Yes,
I like
I'll be
that.
Jack.
I like that.
Okay.
I love it.
Cool.
Wait, and that means, well, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to call you
nobody
Chrissy.
likes
Don't go there.
Janet.
Janet was kind of cool, though. She was smart, but
She was smart.
yeah, I think I
But
digress.
she was a little bit of stick in the mud. We could do Chrissy times 2.
Yeah. Chrissy and Chrissy's
How did
coming.
we get here?
We don't fit molds very quickly. Like, okay,
We don't like labels.
I'll go with
actually.
that.
Yes,
but I'm,
we don't.
We'll go with that, but I'm gonna tweak it.
Yes.
No, but so do you play regularly somewhere so that people can find you, that we can stalk you?
Like play
that-
what? Like
Your drums.
Your drums.
Oh, I
or-
play the
or
drums at
you
church.
do- or
Okay.
you sing.
I haven't been performing or anything because I didn't know if that was my lane.
Well, you know what? It doesn't.
It's true.
So
So
I heard what Mark said yesterday because I
Yep.
spoke to Mark, and he said you have to be maniacal,
maniacal.
which I really liked that word.
Wait,
I was
who
like, I'm
to
taking
Mark.
this.
Mark.
He's the Hollywood.
I'll send you his website.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forwarded you his contact, I think, yesterday.
Oh,
text
yes.
message.
I was out of it yesterday.
And I was like, I love that. I
wanna
do
write
love
it-
that.
Say it again.
Monomaniacal.
Yeah.
And because I love maniac a little bit. I do like that just a little bit. But I do love that hyper focused, and I do think that that was great advice for you
Yeah.
because you're multi-passionate,
Yeah.
right? But if they all cycle through to the byline of what you're trying to do, which is be the CEO for God, be on,
Correct.
let's
Corey
bring
Gill
this out.
LLC.
Yeah, let's bring this all out.
Mhm.
Let's touch people. Let's share with people. Let's connect with people. Let's make faith mainstream.
Yes.
Let's love, because I think that's ultimately the message too. Is you have gone through such tragedy. I remember when your daughter got into that
Oh, my
accident.
goodness, God,
that
it's
was
so good.
heartbreaking.
Oh my goodness.
And
You should see her today.
yeah.
Completely healed.
Yes.
Broken neck. She's
Yes.
walking.
Wow.
She's
So
walking.
I do feel like your faith is such a testament.
Yeah.
And I love that you've used your faith to overcome so many challenges in your life. And I think that message can go through on so many ways. And I think if you put a thumping backbeat to it, I think we're all going to listen a little bit too.
Yes.
We all like bass
I like that.
in the car.
I like that.
I think
That is you do.
You know?
You have a gift.
Yeah, I do
truly
think you have a gift.
Thank
And I
you.
think you express it in the ways, and I know he says, double down on this, which I agree. You double down on that. But if you were to, I think you added in, I see you up on the stage and I see you doing you, and I also see there being music in there too. I think it's just such a, it's like the blood.
I received that.
You know,
Maybe
I would love that.
This is just the door that's being opened.
This is the door that's being opened. You know, God works in mysterious ways. You know, Mark is actually an atheist. He doesn't believe, but yet God is using him.
I know.
It's an amazing thing.
So he tells me the story of how he's an atheist, but he somehow feels like this message has to go, and it's like that's the reluctant, the part of us that. And this is one of the things I was thinking when he was speaking. Sometimes we hold on to our identities so strongly that we don't allow ourselves to change. But I think he's on his way. He just doesn't. He's just reluctant because he's been who he's always been.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the way God sees that he's given to him anyways.
Everything happens for a reason. God works in mysterious
Sometimes
ways.
I think seeing things from a different lens, I think sometimes we are not accepting the gifts. I feel like there's blessings and stuff, and we're not open to receive because of our baggage or because of our trauma. Some people are not good receivers for gifts, and I don't feel like there's a blessing in that. I don't.
One of the perfect examples are if you're a person who always gives, and then someone tries to give you a gift and you don't take it, a compliment. If someone gives you a compliment, you go, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not,
You're not receiving it. You got to say thank you.
You have to say thank you. And that's hard.
Well,
It's hard.
So I will be personal, TMI. You know, Chris is always a go-getter. He's such a hard worker. And I believe harmony, the female and the masculine energy, that we both have gifts that we can give to nourish and heal each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, sometimes I feel like you resist me. I know I have healing inside of me. I know that I can heal you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he doesn't want to. I think there's just so many things that he doesn't allow himself to. It's almost like he can't say, I can't be weak right now. And he sees that as a weak. And I'm like, that's not weakness.
I know we only got a minute left. That's another conversation. But what you're talking about is polarity, and it's between the feminine and the masculine energy. But what happens is a lot of men were taught to be A, B, and C.
Yes.
And we stuck in that position. But that'll lead up to the next show.
Yes.
So this song is called I Won't Ask. This is Mr. Corey Gale. Thank you for listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM every Thursday, 10 a.m. We will see you next week.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN.live.
Hello, I'm Jim Pullen of Surrogate Sons and Daughters. Are you or a loved one facing the decision to move to assisted living? As we age, we can't do it alone, and a little help can make the difference to maintain independence. Surrogate Sons and Daughters are here to help. Plainly, we are stand-in sons and daughters for hire, advocates to help you age in place. Learn more about us at surrogatesonsanddaughters.com or call me, Jim, at 603-688-7399. That's 603-688-7399.
Hello, I'm Ed Mullen from Nashua Aerial Advertising. Do you have a message you want to get out to a large number of people in a way that gets noticed and, more importantly, gets remembered? Aerial banners are a fantastic way to put your business name, personal message, or announcement in front of the people you need to see it. With your sign riding high in the sky where there is no competition for its attention, it gets seen. And more importantly, it gets remembered. Fly your message or advertisement over selected audiences for the best use of your advertising dollars. Every racetrack, sports stadium, state or town fair or parade or other outdoor gathering provides a ready-made venue to put your message in front of thousands of people. So take off now and call 603-484-9348. That's 603-484-9348. Nashua Aerial Advertising. The sky's not the limit, just the beginning.
The River Casino and Sports Bar is the place to be this summer. Basketball Finals Watch Party on June 14th, complete with Celtics memorabilia giveaways. Every Friday this summer, we are Party Central, complete with music by area DJs. Try your luck at Roulette, New Hampshire Hold'em, or New Hampshire 21. Primetime specials daily, 4 to 7. $2 pizza slices, $3 domestic beer. Best deal in Nashua. The River Casino on High Street in downtown Nashua.
Have you tried to quit drinking before, and much to your surprise and dismay, you couldn't? Have you tried therapy, meetings, and treatment programs, but still can't seem to stay stopped? Or maybe you live in fear that you'll lose your job, your home, or your family, and much more if you don't get this figured out, and soon. Well, there is hope. My name is Bill Nielsen, and I'm the founder of Nascent 24 Recovery and Life Coaching. And I struggled for over a decade. Yup, 10 years, trying to get it right. I lost jobs, 5-6-figure jobs in fact, homes, friends, relationships. I thought I'd never get off the merry-go-round or the roller coaster, but I did. And I've developed a proven proprietary process that works. Why does it work? Because it addresses the root cause and not the symptoms. No more Band-Aids on bullet wounds. It's a 12-week journey that will transform your entire life, not just the drinking thing. I work one-on-one with every single client, and your privacy and anonymity are paramount. The great part is that you don't have to leave your home, your job, or your family. Text me the word recovery to 203-241-1266. That's 203-241-1266. Or visit my website, nascent24.com, NASCENT24.com. There is a solution. Take the first step. You won't regret it.
With the summer beginning comes more opportunities for music and adventure. Hi, my name is Cody Switzer, and I am from the Nashua Community Music School, the official summer music camp of Nashua. Your child could explore Latin music found in our city, put on an original Broadway show, rock out with our rock band at our next back-to-school bash, or become the next best DJ at the party. Want to learn more? Please visit our website, nashuacms.org, or give us a call at 603-881-7030. Don't wait. Spots are filling up fast.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Thank you for listening to WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. The following program has been previously recorded.
Grab your mental health toolkit and get ready for a ride that's part therapy, part stand-up comedy, and 100% real talk in partnership with the Hidden Battles Foundation. It's the Hidden Battles Radio Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the second hour of Hidden Battles Radio live here on WSMN every Monday night from 7 to 9. You can tune in at 1590 AM on 95.3 FM. You can watch us live stream at WSMN.live. And tonight we're pushing the limits on Facebook, because we're playing music and we'll want to see whether or not they're going to kick us off. But we've been kicked off before, but whatever. Our second hour, real quick. As we did on the first hour, we do our public service announcements. But we just want to thank our partners for tonight's show. Swim at the Mission. You can check them out at swam.org. Custom Ironcraft at customironcraft.com, or John at customironcraft.com. You can check out Plan Perfectly Wedding and Events, planperfectly.net. And JDCU, check them out, Jean Credit Union. That's how you say it, by the way.
Yeah,
Jean Credit Union. In case Mike just found out about them.
Yeah.
Jean Doc?
Yeah.
I use them too. They're great.
I know, they are great. So, yeah, we want to thank them. But listen, we have Brianna Rennick calling in from the Veterans Yoga Project. She's going to be calling in momentarily, and hopefully we'll get them on. But so early in the first hour, if there's any episode or any show that you've missed, you can actually go to WSMN.live, look up the Hidden Battles Radio, click the icon. You can actually look at the archive shows. All of our shows since we've been here. This is
2 years?
6 months. No, 6 months.
Oh, in this
January. Yeah, in this location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we came up from Dumpster Fire Radio up to the Turret. We literally like the Jeffersons. We're moving on up here, buddy.
Yeah. What's next?
Yeah, Syndicate. We're going across the street over to ESPN Radio. But listen, we have on the phone line, so let's get that going.
Yeah.
All right. So who's on the? Oh, we got the yoga coming up. Yoga, a lot of vet centers now do yoga, and
Yes.
every veteran that I know that does it swears by it.
Yeah.
At Warrior Path, we did it every single morning.
Yeah.
Takes
Yeah.
some getting used to, but
Yeah.
it really is. It's
Yeah.
mindful movement, really, is what
It
it
is.
is, and
Yeah.
it is very beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, so
Yep,
we have
here we are.
Brianna Renner on the phone from the Veterans Yoga Project. Brianna, you there?
I am here. Hi.
Oh, sweet. Great. One, thanks for reaching out and agreeing to be on the show. I think what you guys are doing is great, and we would really like to educate our audience. Just to let you know, though, we have our resident mindfulness instructor here, so he's going to.
He's on the ready.
Yeah, he's on the ready.
I'll be taking notes.
Yeah, no, you've actually. Tonight's a good night to be calling in because we have some people who are very in tune to what you guys do, and we love it. Are you there?
All right.
Oh, there you go. I shut my own mic off. I can't believe I did that. Just talked that whole time all by myself, to myself.
You sounded great.
No, no, I did not.
I can hear you guys.
So, so now you wonder why. But anyway, so we have Brianna Renner from the Veterans Yoga Project on. So tell us a little bit about the organization, how did it start, who do you cater to, and we'll talk about some programs.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honor. So Veterans Yoga Project was founded in 2011 by clinical psychologist Dr. Dan Libby. He was doing his postdoc work at the West Haven VA in Connecticut and started incorporating some tools of what we at Veterans Yoga Project called Mindful Resilience. So it is breathing, meditation, guided rest, gratitude, and mindful movement. So he started incorporating these tools into his sessions, and he started offering yoga sessions while he was there. And one of his veterans came up to him one day and said, "Hey, Doc, I didn't need my medication to sleep last night. I meditated instead." So from there, that's really how Veterans Yoga Project was born. Dr. Libby created what I lovingly call our flagship program. It's our 17.5-hour Mindful Resilience for Trauma Recovery training. This training is designed for yoga teachers and clinicians, although we have everyone coming through the training. We have veterans and civilians and caregivers coming through the training as well. During this training, we discuss the psychology and physiology of trauma, how and why it sits in the body, and why these tools of Mindful Resilience are a complementary approach to supporting post-traumatic growth.
Very nice. So for our audiences, you guys are a 501c3. You guys, it looks like you work with Home Base out of Boston?
Yeah,